Thanks for joining us. And today we're going to talk about the most powerful practice in Kriya Yoga. So the most powerful practice in Kriya Yoga is often not talked about. Could it be Kriya Pranayama, the mainstay of Kriya Yoga, the form of intentional breathing that brings one into a low idle state, into an internalized state, into pratyahara? Could it be Yoni Mudra, the absorption in the Kutastha or spiritual eye? Or could it be the second Kriya? Or could it be the third Kriya, or the fourth, or the fifth, or the sixth, or the seventh Kriya? Well, the most powerful practice in Kriya Yoga is often not talked about, but is often intuitively done by high-level meditators. And it's really what separates the high-level Kriya Yogi in deep meditation and those who have challenges in meditation. And this most powerful practice is samavayama, which means right effort in Pali. So this particular practice was recognized by the Buddha over 2,600 years ago, but is applicable to all types of meditation. And the essence of right effort is really the prevention of the arising of unwholesome states, the abandoning of already arisen unwholesome states, the arising of wholesome states, and the continuance of that arisen wholesome states. And really, this is something that is done intuitively by advanced meditators in Kriya Yoga and other traditions, that they recognize that what has come up in their meditation is wholesome or unwholesome, and they abandon the unwholesome and remain in the wholesome. And so in the following excerpt from a conversation between myself and Maxwell Pop, who is a Kriya Yoga Acharya in the Panchanan Vajracharya lineage, we discuss right effort in the context of Kriya Yoga and how to effortlessly move through successively deeper meditative states.
As far as right effort goes, it's definitely one of the cornerstone or the foundations of the Eightfold Noble Path. And with right effort in meditation, we're taking several different aspects kind of simultaneously to deal with these hindrances as they arise. And right mindfulness also being one of those factors on the Eightfold Noble Path, it's kind of playing hand in hand with right effort. Those two working together is where you're going to really start dealing away with these hindrances, not suppressing them, and seeing changes in your life, in your day-to-day basis. Not only are you going to have a better meditation, but you're going to go through life with less distraction, more presence, a less agitated mind, and just really start enjoying life.
And so for folks who are unfamiliar with mindfulness, how would you describe that?
We can just directly talk about the four foundations of mindfulness. I think that really covers it quite well. And so we're looking at four different factors. We're looking at mindfulness of the body, seeing the tension, the tightness, the pain. We have mindfulness of feeling, whether or not we like something or not. Mindfulness of the mind. What is the mind doing? Is it agitated? Is it experiencing a hindrance right now? And then we have mindfulness of the mind phenomenon. What we experience, mind objects. What's going on in the mind? So really, mindfulness is being aware of what's going on inside of you and seeing it for what it is, something that is not permanent, something that is the cause of suffering, and something that, because of those two things, is not a part of me.
And that's, I think, really what, if one starts to become aware of how the mind's attention moves from one thing to the other, which is like a good definition of mindfulness, you can be aware of that happening in the body, you can be aware of that happening in the feelings, you can be aware of that happening in the mind in general, and as well in the thoughts. And that can be just a simple, very foundational meditation practice of just being aware of that. And with each little tiny phenomenon that appears, it's not me, you let it go, it's impermanent, it's just going to go where it goes, and then something else is going to come, and it's just this unending show of where nothing ever repeats, ever. And everything is unique and beautiful in a way, right?
Yeah, and for me, I would say when I got started, it was a really hard concept to grasp, this idea of things not being me or not belonging to me. And if one thinks about, everybody's been hungry at one point, and in this state of hunger acted irrationally or unwholesome, in an unwholesome state. And afterwards, after you've eaten, you have a feeling of calmness and collectedness, and you can look back at yourself and say, oh wow, yeah, that was not me. Who was this person? And it's even in society, people, if you say, oh, I was hungry, I'm so sorry, they understand. And if you kind of use the same concept in meditation, when a hindrance arises and you identify with it, or you feel that, oh, I'm just, my mind is too restless, I can't meditate, or something happened today that's all I can think about right now, I don't have time to meditate, I got to deal with this. If you can kind of have this awareness of different states and see that, okay, I am in an unwholesome state, I need to eat to move back into this wholesome state. And that food in meditation is mindfulness and seeing that it's impermanent, that it's causing suffering right now, and that it is in fact not a part of me, or I'm not identified with it. And I think that's a good way to move deeper. I mean, that is an extremely good way to move deeper in meditation and get past this wall of hindrances. Yeah.
It's like the hangry state.
The hangry
state of meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
After you kind of sit in Paravasta, you've done your Kriya, you can kind of establish this mindfulness, this understanding of what's going on in me, what state of mind do I have right now, and as you refine this ability of mindfulness, you can see a lot more clearly what's happening, what's arising, what's passing, like you said, and from there, that's when you can really start letting go of these hindrances and just really kick your meditation into high gear and do the lasting work.
With your own practice, when you started to learn how to let go of hindrances, what was your experience like initially?
A lot of relief, because there's a point in your practice where you get past this wall of hindrances, and maybe the first time it's very brief, because you have an exciting feeling. You have this feeling of relief arise in you, so that in itself can kind of pull you back into this wall of hindrances, because now you've identified with it. But the more you get on this, the more you get past these hindrances, the more you practice, the more you meditate, the easier you can navigate through it. And then, like I said, you really start to see things change in your daily life as well. Then you know you're meditating, for sure. Yeah, so I guess that kind of brings us to the point of wrong effort. Because I know for me, starting out, I wanted results. You know, I'm doing this practice to be better, so I want things to happen, right? And one can really get caught up in trying to force something. And it's like with this forgiveness idea, we might try and force those thoughts away, or we might try to force ourselves to forgive ourselves, or force a feeling of love. But we really have to find this middle ground of sitting, tranquilizing the body, and accepting exactly what's going on right now, and seeing it happen, and allowing it to happen, and being very aware of the hindrances that are arising, and aware of that they are impermanent. To move ourselves back into the right view. And maybe you have a few examples as well of wrong effort.
Sometimes people in Kriya Yoga are over-concentrated in their practice, just in general, trying to become absorbed in meditation and then trying to move into so absorption is called dhyan, and then moving into samadhi. So everybody in Kriya Yoga, they have all these, stories about, these incredible samadhi, super conscious awareness, infinite space and bliss and all of this kind of thing. And so those states are accessible, but people really crave for them. They want to have that experience because it's a way, I think, seeing as an escape from daily experience, which is maybe, humdrum or maybe not so satisfying. And then I want to be in perpetual bliss, right, as sort of the goal. And I could live like that. And I'm living in communion with the spirit constantly, and all of this building up this, this desire for this, exalted states. And using the idea about concentration as a mechanism for that. If I can only concentrate more in meditation to push away these distractions, to keep the mind concentrated on the purity, to shun, the impurity, to merge with the divine, all of these kind of ideas through concentration, I would say that is wrong effort, because that's not what actually happens. And people who get success in any meditation, like to get into deep states, into deep bliss and beyond, they got there by just letting go of stuff, right? So maybe they had an initial concentration with, for instance, Kriya pranayama, right? Some kind of intentional breathing that brings the body into a low idle state. But they, at some point, once blasting off with that rocket, which is heading out of the, that's the metaphor, out into the atmosphere, those huge booster rocket engines are useless in space, right? As far as where you want to go. So it's not like you got to drop them away. The concentration focus has got to go. And then you just start to cruise through space and let go on your journey wherever you're going, center of the solar system or wherever, right? So like meditation, I think, is similar like that. So yeah, I think you have to be really careful with too much concentration, because that is really a form of wrong effort, because it can activate Kundalini stuff. It can bring visions of all sorts of different realms and stuff like that, and energetic psychic phenomena and all that. But that doesn't lead to necessarily a progression into deeper meditation. And people often will get fixated on those things and want to cling to them. Mm-hmm. And it does not lead to good results. So if you have any questions about this video, feel free to send me an email at info@modernkriya.com. Also check our website at modernkriya.com and our YouTube channel. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.